What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down what's going on with the overall market, how this may actually affect NIO going forward, and also some very big earnings that just came out from a big bank. I'm also going to break down why on earth we could actually see some very choppy price action tomorrow, maybe a little bit of downside for the markets after what was just reported, before we do actually see the market try to stagnate and actually fight back as time goes on. I'm also going to talk about Tesla, SPY, and the QQQ in this video alongside NIO, but before I do anything like that, I have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $3,000. And the best part is, any could be a free NIO share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just one day, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO is actually down about 0.48%. It traded kind of sideways. It actually came down for a bit, then tried to push up to about 8.4, and overall we did close very, very flat, once again trying to base around this $8 level like I was telling you guys. And I told you guys that NIO had the potential to try to get closer to this like 8.5 area this week, but we might actually see NIO cool off a little bit tomorrow into open after the news that came out with First Republic Bank, and then we might see it try to rebound just a little bit later. But I do believe NIO is going to just trade sideways and continue to barcode once the algos take over. I'm going to talk about how this could actually continue for many other stocks as well. But first, I want to talk about the bank earnings. So First Republic Bank reported their earnings, okay? EPS was $1.23, beating expectations, and revenue is also beating expectations at $1.2 billion, right? Seems fine, right? But then if you actually look at the bigger details, their Q1 net interest income, once again, was a little bit up, right? Other things, their loans from the end period were a little bit higher than expected, but their deposits at the end period were horrible, down over 40%. And if you just look at this and from a more meticulous lens, you can see right over here, it's just not looking good whatsoever for a lot of people. I think there were more reports about this. You could see right here, they're now down 20% because the deposits have fallen more than expected. I think some reports are saying they lost like $100 billion, and it's just not looking too good overall. Now, their deposits were only $104 billion versus $130 billion, which is what we wanted. And overall, it's just not looking that great. Now, here's the problem with this. The problem is, first off, sentiment is going to shift. People are going to be worrying about how the banking crisis is not over. There's like so much pain to come. Secondly, if the banks are losing depositors, they have to actually raise yields. To do so, it's going to cost them more money. And secondly, what's going to happen if the banks are not getting as much deposits? If they're not getting as many deposits, they're not lending out as much money. If they're not lending out as much money, there's less spending, there's less growth in the economy, there's less money going to businesses, and the list goes on. So that's what's not good about this. The bonds are still very inverted. Once again, more bearish for the market going forward. And right here, the headlines are coming out. First Republic Bank says deposits tumbled 40% to only $104 billion in Q1, but they have stabilized since. So this is just not a good piece of news. I mean, the share price is crashing as of right now. Could it try to rebound later? It is a possibility, but there is going to be some fear with this much bearish momentum. On top of that, when you look at what was going on for Wednesday, we could see right here, not for Wednesday, sorry, for Tuesday. Tomorrow's Tuesday. We also have some housing data coming out, which is very important. And then for earnings for tomorrow, all right, we have Microsoft and Alphabet, aka Google, after the market closes. The big reaction is going to come on Wednesday. Make sure you're ready for that. NIO is expected to have an equal weight rating, meaning it's going to likely perform similar to the markets in many analysts' opinions. NIO tends to be green 55% of the time on Tuesdays. And finally, the short interest is actually a little bit down. Only about 5 million shares were shorted last. NIO also mentioned that it's going to be premiering the video series House of NIO offering exclusive insights into the NIO brand with many different topics for distinguished guests. So once again, that's some awesome news in my opinion. People are very happy about this and very supportive. I am as well. And it's very good for them to build their customer base. Now, also, this new design came out for an AI powered futuristic autonomous flagship. This is very cool, known as the NIO Eden. This is what it looks like. Just a concept, and I think it's very, very cool. Just wanted to mention that. It was making some headlines. But, anyways, let's talk about the charts just very briefly. All right, so what's going on with NIO? Down 0.48%, trading a bit sideways, but there could be some downwards pressure after what happened First Republic Bank with deposits being down. And if that is the case, we might see NIO cool off a bit and retest this like 5.16 area, maybe a little lower. We might just see it barcode a bit before trying to rebound. It might close very, very flat. I am expecting lots of barcoding for tomorrow. Unfortunately, we might see the market actually cool off a bit after this banking news that just came out. It might cool off and actually sell off just a bit to retest 411 on SPY. If that doesn't hold, we could actually retest the low of the day, then try to bounce from there. There's not true confirmation of us breaking. If we do break that level, then 409 could come. I just don't see it just yet, but I do believe we might see a bit of a pullback early tomorrow before we get another reaction. For Tesla, it has some relative weakness. If it rejects off this 163 area, it really depends on if we could break above it or not. If we do cool off after what just happened with First Republic Bank, we may see Tesla come down to about 161.66. If that fails, there's 160 flat, which is a very important support zone. Then there's 158, 157.5, then 155 flat. So quite a bit of support down here. However, we also formed a bullish divergence at the same time right here. So, Tesla, there is a chance we could actually see this thing rebound a little after. That's going to depend heavily on earnings, but I am seeing it cooling off just a little bit, maybe touching like 160 and trying to bounce from there. But I do see it just trading sideways from there going forward. I don't expect a very big move until the bigger earnings come out, but expect some sideways action, maybe a little bit of downside tomorrow because of the bank and what it just reported. I'm anticipating a bit of a sell-off in the morning, then a bounce, just some sideways action. Finally, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the QQQ. This is also stuck in the middle between resistance closer to the 50 EMA and also support around this 313 level. That's where gap support happens to be because there's a gap down around this like 312.8 area, which is very close to where the 200 EMA is. So we're kind of sandwiched on the hourly between these two EMAs. I believe the QQQ might cool off a little bit, try to bounce off 313, just trade sideways tomorrow, very similar to the majority of the market, but then we're going to see a big reaction to the earnings that comes out from Microsoft and then Alphabet. If they do well, better than expected, QQQ could actually break above the 50 EMA and start pushing to get closer to about 318 to 320. If the banks, not the banks, the big tech companies don't do well, Microsoft and Google, this is actually going to be reported tomorrow after the market closes. We might see this sell off get closer to 310 or even lower. Okay, guys, so make sure you're ready for big earnings for tomorrow. For NIO, I expect lots of just boring sideways price action, maybe a retest of about 8.17 and lots of sideways action. We may cool off in the morning thanks to the what just happened with First Republic Bank and close very, very flat. But if we want to turn bullish, okay, the only indication of that would be a break above 8.4. If we break it, then 8.54 could get tested. Right now, I'm still in the middle. Once again, we're still waiting for bank news. So I just expect this to be very sideways until we get the bigger earnings. And that's what I'm seeing for NIO. All right, guys, so that's what I have for this video. I thank you all so much for listening. I also have some merch down below, either above or below the comment section, depending on where you're watching this, if you are interested in buying something to help support the channel. If not, completely fine with me. All right, guys, thank you for listening. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of the day. And don't forget, there's only one day left for the Webull offer down below. NIO to the moon. The long term is still very, very bright. And peace out.